All right, so here you are. You've missed the bull run, the market that you spend all day posting in, discussing, browsing, and you missed it. And now you're sidelined, you're frozen out, you're beating yourself up for the last week. You're sat here listening to me. It's a rough world. But the purpose of this video is to show that it's not all doom and gloom. In fact, it's actually a very positive sign. Not that you miss things, of course. It would always be nice to change, those little patches of green that we get and change it into something more positive. However, what I'm here to do really is to talk about kind of the psychology of what's gone on, the psychology that a lot of people are experiencing right now, and then talk about the ways of dealing with that and kind of giving you some perspective on the market overall and really opening your eyes to the developing situation, the potential opportunity, and not getting kind of too buried away in terms of what's going on at this exact moment in time. And usually I would write a lovely thread about this, but this is a topic that actually is probably far better just to cover off on video and allow me to expand and kind of give more detailed thoughts around some of these key points. So what we'll do to kind of kick things off is we'll go through kind of like initial feelings, so what you may be feeling. I want to make a point at the start of this as well that none of my videos, educational wise, are scripted. So there's nothing here that I have in terms of a reference. So number one, you'll have to excuse me if I go off on a tangent at any point, or if I'm not, perfectly coherent in the structure of this video. And secondly, everything that I speak about when it comes to psychology videos is always done from a personal experience perspective. So somebody who has experienced all of these things previously, I'm not sitting here as some godlike creature that is able to just read everybody else and has suffered none of those, those feelings personally. Or has operated in the ways that I speak about when it comes to things like trading addiction, over risking, etc. So I always like to make that clear because I don't want it to ever sound preachy. I don't want it to sound like I'm kind of preaching to you as this person who could never do anything wrong. Okay, this has been me. I still experience many of these psychological things that I speak about, and I've come to be a lot more disciplined in terms of how I understand, interpret, and deal with them differently over the years versus where some of you might be in terms of your journey. So what we'll do is we'll start off with kind of where we are right now, what's been going on, and how you are probably feeling. So I'm just going to use kind of some text here to kind of type this out at the same time. So the first thing is it's going to be like frustration in terms of you've missed the move, you've missed out on this. It's going to be punishment for knowing but not actioning. All right, so this is a classic. This is like, well, I knew it was going to go up. I've been bullish on crypto ever since I knew about crypto, and therefore it's crazy that I'm not positioned for this BTC move. I own no spot, yet BTC is up ridiculously high and I'm frozen out and I've got nothing, but I love crypto. And right, so you get this whole thing, and so then you get like the personality conflict, which is where, as I said, your personality is belief in crypto, enjoyment of crypto, use of crypto, but not having enough when it comes to capital invested. So then that's capital investment here as well. And then what we've also got is missed it, reinforcement of poor performance. And what we'll do here is we'll say daily. Right, so this is a situation that is ongoing daily. I'm just turning my sound down here. So you've got reinforcement of your poor performance daily. Okay, there's constant reminders for you on Twitter. You are constantly greeted by people who have longed. This is a period of time in which everybody shares. They openly share their positions. They share what entries they've got on things. They're not closing positions. They're talking about, you see P&L amounts, you see P&L percentages, you see the exchange P&L cards popping up left, right, and center. Everybody seems to have caught the move except you. So you get this constant reinforcement every single day of just how poorly you have operated in this span of time. You become fixated. You spend more time at the PC, and we'll say /phone. You are losing sleep, and this can be through whether or not you're trading and staying up looking at the markets, or this can be from the fact that you're thinking about your poor performance and kind of not making it. There will be a questioning on if you're good enough. Should I be investing? And then there'll also be a really important one here, which is you're probably losing money. And I'll kind of take that as a relatively, I would bet a decent amount of money that a lot of you that are listening to this video have lost money in this period of time. I would bet good money that that is the situation. I would bet that a lot of people listening to this have not made money. They have actually lost money during this period of time. And I would even go as far to say that that is further reinforcement of all of the above. Okay, so it's like green conditions develop. You didn't take advantage of the green conditions. You then tried to take advantage of the green conditions. You were making up for mistakes. You were making up for lost time. You were pushing things a bit harder. You lost money during this period of time. And all that's done for you now is reinforce all of this that you're already feeling. So it kind of feels 10 times worse. I say if I was a betting man, I am a betting man, I would bet pretty decent money that I have probably covered off a lot of feelings that many of you are feeling with this BTC move and the crypto move in general over the course of the last week. I think that's probably a relatively strong summary of emotions and feelings and actions during this patch of time. And they're all perfectly understandable. They're all perfectly rational within reason. Some of them may be true. Okay, so we can't escape the fact that some of it might be true. It's not necessarily that I can sit here and say, actually, don't worry about any of it. Right? It's all good. Everything's going to be fine. It's all going to work out in the end. There's some of this that is probably true and needs to be worked on and corrected. But this list here really is also to show that we are at the extreme end in terms of emotion for what we've experienced so far. Crypto has seen one of the strongest moves that it has seen, certainly from a BTC perspective, in probably 2 years, okay? And when I speak about like the strength of the move, really what I'm speaking about is the significance of the move versus the percentage that it's moved. The percentage it's moved is nice, and that's, you know, an added bonus. What I'm really speaking about is the kind of validity of this move in the fact that we've broken through that significant level at 31,000, which has been resistance for 2023, and it was support back in 2021. So having a significant breakthrough on the higher time frame of that is one of the most significant actions that we have seen in a good period of time in crypto. And hopefully, you know, maybe you can see kind of the seeds that I'm planting there when I start to discuss about the significance and the start of the significance. And it really is that. It's the starting point for what is a potential change in the nature of the crypto markets. We've seen in more recent time that decorrelation with the traditional markets, and we've seen a stronger correlation with metals markets and kind of the commodity side of things that have been stronger in the wake of equities weakness, certainly over the last few weeks from where this video is dated. And so everything that we're feeling is based on this hyper emotional state that we're in. It's based on the fact that basically we're now indulging ourselves even more in the crypto space. You know, previously we would have been, you know, sort of every now and again. I say every now and again. We would have been checking pretty regularly, but perhaps not with the same sort of emotion and enthusiasm as we have been over the last couple of weeks while this move has been unfolding. And that is kind of half of the issue. So we've got an emotional mindset. You have an emotional mindset, and you're feeling all of these things. And instead of being able to step away, we're actually consuming even more. So we're kind of like absorbing even more of all of what's on this list and kind of increasing the feeling around these to an even greater degree based on the actions that we're taking. Okay, so that's like the overview, okay? And that's probably, as I said, summarized what a lot of you are feeling. This is the start of a higher time frame move potentially. There has to be a caveat on everything that I'm saying because I'm recording this video in the moment. I have no idea what future price will do. So I can only speak kind of positively about the current environment in the way that it is set up as of right now, today, just before Halloween 2023. This breakthrough is a shift in the BTC momentum. It is a shift in the crypto momentum, and it does not signal the end. It very likely signals more of a beginning structure than it does an end. So if we go back through this kind of list of feelings and we start to rationalize where we are and we start to think about the way that we can be better when we're not acting so emotionally, and some of the ways that we can begin to think about the market maybe slightly differently in order to position ourselves in the best possible situation for what we hope to be a longer, greener run for crypto. And just excuse me while I grab a drink before I start. The highly professional, non-edited, straight up talking podcast version. So when it comes to things like frustration, we'll start off at number one. When it comes to frustration and kind of your thoughts on the market right now, that is a short-term feeling. That is something that, yes, it's annoying in this span of time, but actually if you hold the frustration, it's more likely to contribute down here, all right, to losing money than it is anything else. Frustration in this environment often turns to overtrading and taking the opposite side of trades. So very often what I see, and this is from kind of like one-to-one students as well, very often what happens is we get the frustration element. You start to long everything. Okay, even if stuff is kind of overextended, it doesn't deserve to be long, it hasn't got a setup, we start to now just long everything out of frustration. Then what happens is we get chopped up a little bit by the market. That increases our frustration. We may even have kind of, big long targets for something. We may be looking at like ETH and we're like, well, ETH is going to trade at 2K, so I'm going to long it here. And then 20 minutes later, you get stopped out by an aggressive move down, and then suddenly you find yourself in a short position on ETH. And so your trading starts to go like all over the place through the frustration. It starts to kind of like take different forms. You're doing all sorts of crazy shit. You find yourself short on a market that you always planned to long. All sorts of stuff tends to go on, and it stems from frustration. It stems from a necessity to take advantage of something when you're not in the right position in order to try and do so. And then you get the punishment for not knowing, or for knowing but not actioning. And again, this is built into frustration. This is kind of like the overarching header, and a lot of these can fit under the frustration tag. But punishment for knowing but not actioning is very, very important. And usually it resides in BTC primarily because that tends to be people's majority spot asset, tends to be what they gravitate towards. It tends to be, and especially in recent time from our perspective, it has been the leader in the market. So it's been the thing that has been the driving force. It's produced some of the better market moves and some of the stronger momentum. And it's always been the one that you kind of feel the FOMO for. It's the one that kind of, moves first, and you feel the FOMO for missing out on the BTC price move. So when we see BTC trading at levels that, maybe we anticipated, but, just couldn't get an entry on, or whatever it might look like, it's kind of it's just a pure punishment process for us. A lot of people are bullish on BTC. They're bullish on the kind of the higher time frame, the fundamentals of BTC, what it stands for. Yet they find themselves with no BTC allocation during this move. And I would class myself as one of those people. I'm very much bullish on the higher time frame of BTC, and I have zero spot allocation to BTC currently. Is that a problem for me? No, it's not a problem for me. I will take spot allocation when the time comes. Do I feel as though I punish myself for kind of, being more bullish on a longer term basis, but not owning spot? No, I don't, because like we spoke about earlier, this is really the shifting point for BTC. Above that 31,000 really is the kind of the line in the sand, and being above there is the first ignition point for me in terms of considering BTC is now a very strong contender for what will be a sooner than anticipated spot hold, but will still be a spot hold regardless. We tend to become very fixated in the moves that BTC has made on the shorter term while forgetting the longer term. So when we're considering like the monthly chart and what the process looks like 12 months down the line, this has been the first real push from BTC to give some strength to the argument of it can achieve those things. It can achieve the higher time frame kind of targets. It can move towards being a safer hold. It has a better alignment with metals. It's kind of picking up more of those fundamental factors that we would enjoy. So again, you see the way that I rationalize that process there. It's a way of understanding what your personal aims are for BTC. So if you're there and you're like, well, I'm bullish on the future of BTC and I'm bullish on the future of crypto, and I think that, everything here, let's not go that far. I think that a lot of the coins here will see future use. I think that, BTC especially will continue to grow and strengthen. Like, how much does it really matter that you didn't buy at 28,000, you buy at 34, if you're targeting significantly higher and a kind of a global change in thought process to cryptocurrency and BTC? How much does that really matter through regions like this? The short term, it looks awful. The short term, the chart is vertical. You think, fuck, I've missed all this. Higher time frame, small green weekly in what you hope will be many, many more, and what I hope will be many, many more. So you see the way you rationalize through that process. And again, that just comes down to, where we are in terms of thoughts, trading approach, investment approach, higher time frame reasoning, and signals. So remembering that everybody has different signals. So for a lot of people, then the monthly chart can be an opportunity for them to be a buyer. The monthly chart, the monthly breakthrough can be that opportunity to be a buyer. And if we just simply mark this out here so we can get a, kind of a better understanding of the area I'm talking about, it's through here. So when we consider kind of a breakout candle, this is the breakout candle. And I always use, several examples for what a breakout candle is and how we can convince ourselves we've missed things when we see a breakout candle. When the reality is that we very often haven't missed anything. You can see here, even just going back into the all-time high break in 2020 and moving into the 23s, buying the top of the monthly candle here, you draw down a couple of $1,000 here, 10%, and you capture this entire move up here. So kind of like even significant breakout points on the higher time frame still have a lot of juice available in order to trade significantly higher. And the other one that I always give is the major kind of breakout example is SHIB. So I always use SHIB as the breakout one, because this breakout here is a monster. Okay, so this is the months. I think it's a 6-month range here of being below this resistance point. And then you get breakout here, and the breakout is obviously ridiculously strong in terms of what we achieve here. So we close 2x up. And again, if you take a look at what SHIB does from this point, even buying the close, you still net yourself easily the same on top. And even if you closed up here, you still bag yourself a nice 1.5x on the position, just from buying a breakout, just from buying strength, just from buying the first point that the market is actually giving you the strongest and clearest signal that it is doing something of note. And when we bog ourselves down in thinking about, oh, this is over, it's the end, I've missed it, I'm bullish, but I wasn't bullish at the right time, it's nonsense, right? And if you maintain the same poor thought process, you'll never be able to capture what is potentially available to us in terms of where the market moves to next. Okay, that's enough about punishment for not knowing and rationalizing. Personality conflict we kind of covered off in terms of the punishment and the kind of the overall alignment that you have with crypto. Capital investment, and this is a really important one again in kind of thinking about the way that everybody processes information through areas like this. Now I can absolutely assure you that even the people who have captured this move, okay, are pissed off. I can promise you that. Let me bring this down here and get us zoomed in a little bit here. So I can promise you that the people who have captured this move are also pissed off. As traders, as investors, what we tend to do is go through a lot of cycles of self-punishment and aggravation. And even when we do something successfully, a lot of the time we take all of the positive feelings out of that and instead replace them with negativity. And a lot of people will have done that through this BTC move. If you would have captured this BTC move, you can rationalize it at this point in time to say, I would have been really happy to capture this move. I would have bought my spot BTC and I would have been really happy to capture this move. The reality of that would have been that if you would have captured this move, you would have turned around at the end of this and you said, I fucking knew it was going to happen. You would have said exactly the same shit we're talking about now. I'm bullish. I've always been bullish on BTC. I love crypto. All right. And you would have said, why the fuck did I not have more size in that position? I knew it was coming. I knew the move was coming. I bought spot. I should have taken a leverage trade. I should have increased my size. I should have bought more. I shouldn't have taken profit at 28,000. I shouldn't have done that, right? That's exactly what you would do. There's nobody that comes out of this with 100% happiness in terms of what they have done. Yeah, sure. The profit for a lot of people will be very good on the move. But there's always negativity attached to it. It's what we do. Self-punishment. It's because we didn't hit the big one. We didn't hit the one that dreams are made of. Didn't hit the one where we can suddenly start posting on Twitter or never posting on Twitter again as a result of the win being so large. Right? So there's a lot of frustration regardless, and I can assure you that that will be the case. People even listening to this will probably be, kind of hopefully nodding along in agreement, thinking about their own personal experiences, whether that be, trading BTC, trading something like Link, trading Sol. Again, being bullish on those markets, on those altcoins, and not fully realizing the extent of the move you could have captured, closing too early, not enough size, etc. So there is always a problem here with capital investment and kind of like the missing it approach. And then missing it is kind of covered off already, and that was kind of down to the rationalization discussion that fell underneath punishment and personality conflict and those headers, and again, all under the remit of frustration. But the missed it is you have to assign a level of kind of context to it. You have missed a move over the course of the last 2 weeks. Yes, true, you have. Does that mean that it sets out the entire future of what you're investing and trading will look like? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that all of the opportunity in this market is gone? No, it doesn't. Quite the contrary. It actually says that there's potentially a lot of momentum and opportunity coming based on the fact that BTC is trading at such a great level now with such great strength. And then we'll go into the kind of the fixated element and spending more time at the PC and phone and losing sleep. I'll come back to reinforcement shortly because I want to cover all of this off. And I'm going to do all this under one thing, which is you have to, with all of your discipline and self-control, not gamble away your money now. You have to keep the context and the rationalization of the higher time frame BTC picture and not fuck it up chasing 2 weeks worth of missed gains for what could be a very successful few months, few quarters, who knows. But you cannot chuck that opportunity away, scrambling after the market to try and chase the money that you feel you are owed from having a sense of bullishness about this market or not under the last 2 weeks. It is a absolute one-way ticket to doom. And I have seen people who have fucked up prior to major moves happening. And this is a large move. I'm talking about moves that are just continuation after continuation after continuation, right? Bullish, real bullish conditions. And if you overtrade, if you become fixated by the charts, if you start spending far more time at your PC and on your phone hitting buttons consistently with the wrong frame of mind and not thinking about things in a logical, rational, technical, system-assisted way, if you're not getting proper sleep, you are going to be losing money consistently. And it isn't going to stop. It's not going to get better because it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle that just takes over. You will lose. You will go through all of these things again because you shouldn't be losing. Everybody else is winning. You'll keep hitting the markets. You'll keep losing. You'll keep having it reinforced that you should be winning. You'll keep trying again. And before long, you will spiral balances down to zero. And if you'd simply bought spot on something, even at prices that you may consider elevated or too high today, I can guarantee you would have been far more successful in the long run than doing or engaging in the path that a lot of you will be engaging on right now. You cannot walk that path and hope to survive. You might get lucky one day and you might have a big win that brings your account back to break even. And my God, if that happens to you, stop. You have so much more time than you anticipate in situations like this. Like I said, this is 2 weeks of what could be a far larger move. This is the first significant breakthrough a level in 2 years. Don't blow your shit now. Do not fuck up now trading this. And I speak with a kind of a dad tone about this, but it is one of kind of the things that I feel a lot of frustration for others when I see people engaging in that path. When you lose it, you blow it, you fuck it up before the easy mode starts. And you've seen what it's like. Okay, you've seen what it's like. And if you're not performing well now, and this is potentially easy mode conditions, if you're not performing well now, that's because the mindset is not in the right place. Right? You need to fix that first and get some, understanding there. But don't fuck it up. For the love of God, do not fuck it up at this point. All right, and then the last ones are all kind of social media related, and we'll start to speed up as we get through this now and kind of get to the end of where we are with this video, which has been a long one, but hopefully positive. Social media is the greatest and the worst thing all at once when it comes to crypto and strong market conditions. Social media will make you FOMO into things, which can be beneficial or not beneficial. Social media will make you feel like a piece of shit for missing everything. It will reinforce that everybody else is better than you, that everybody else is more successful than you are. And what it will also do is it will start to instill a sense of unrealistic expectations in you that you should be doing and capturing all of these things that other people are doing. So it will very quickly start to set you up on a path that is potentially unachievable for you, when you start looking at some of the P&L totals, some of the strike rates, some of the ways that people are operating, and it just simply won't be possible for you. That may be because your financial situation is different, so you don't have the same capital required to produce some of those, returns and gains and life-changing totals in a single 15-minute trade. That may not be the way that it looks for you. It may be that this person who you are looking to and admiring and you think that they win everything is able to spend 16 hours a day browsing charts, planning things, executing things. You have a job to do. You've got work. You've got a family. You've got hobbies. You've got an outside life. You've got, all of those things going on that mean that you cannot sit for 16 hours a day and participate to the same level. Your outcomes are going to be different. So social media will set you up in a way that gives you unrealistic expectations while at the same time hammering down what a piece of shit you are. The other thing that social media will do, which is the positive side of it, is it will give you clues. It will give you hints. It will give you leads to follow. It will help you narrow down your analysis. It will give you some aspirational targets as long as you can remain relatively level-headed about what that looks like. But it will do some positive things for you at the same time. But during patches of time like we've just seen, social media has not been good for many of you. Social media will have just been a hellhole of punishment that you have to endure, and you probably skip very quickly past the P&L cards at this point in time to not bother checking them and seeing them and having that further drilled in. Again, rationalize. It's the long term. These people are winning in the short term, and that's fantastic. Right? It doesn't take anything away from them. It's amazing that they are successful as of right now, and they're doing right things. And this patch of time has been fruitful for them. It doesn't impact you. Okay, forget everybody else. What's important is you. And you can see the way if you start to kind of engage in this psychological battle and you let it overcome you, how quickly things can turn very rough for you. And there's a lot of things you got to battle. Your own emotions, all of the things that you're taking in on social media, your beliefs that you may have had for many months, many years. I'll kind of end with some, a little bit more rationalization. When crypto is green, it is a wonderful environment that does produce money, right? It prints money. You have to make several good decisions in a bull run, and you will still make, for you, in your financial situation, very good money, whatever that may look like. Whether that be that you have an 8-figure portfolio, 7-figure, 6, 5, 4, whatever. You will make good money for you, should you be able to action and execute in the right ways. The rationalization is furthered at this point in time by the fact that we've been discussing what BTC looks like through here on a monthly time frame. And when you go to any of these alts, when you go to something like AVAX, which is obviously a very popular alt, and the chart looks like this, it gives you a sense of perspective in terms of what we're currently facing. This is the AVAX chart. This is what it looks like. The all-time high is $150. We're now trading at 11. It's still only $11. All right. Now, this isn't to say that all of these charts are going to go up and make all-time highs. They are not. Not all of these assets, I can absolutely promise you with everything, will go up and make all-time highs. But it gives you a sense of just how beat down some of these markets still are. And it gives you a sense of realizing that, yes, we've had 2 weeks of a significant move in these markets, but this is what a bull market looks like. This is how a bull market trades. This is not a bull market, right? It may turn into this, which is great, and that's where your opportunity comes in. But you haven't missed shit when you look at a chart that looks like this. And you can scroll down the entire watch list that you have, and it's all the same stuff, okay? It's all the same stuff. It's like Aave. Aave was $600. I remember trading this in 500s, 400s. It's $80. It's down here. It's not even past highs from 2023, okay? remember where we are. Remember what things look like. You take a look at ETH still, even in the position that it's in as of right now. You take a look at ETH here. Its highs of 4.8k. It's 1800. Still 1800. Again, it's not even at highs for 2023. Stop thinking that you've missed stuff. Okay? We're at the start. The quicker you can get out of the mindset, the quicker you can set yourself up for the future, the quicker that you can remove all of that negativity and frustration and anger of missing what is a fucking 2-week move, and think about the bigger picture and what the potential is should you be able to hold on to your balances, save your money, invest wisely, trade correctly. It's opportunity. It's not the end. It's the beginning. Fingers crossed. Right? Don't crucify me in 3 weeks if we've retraced everything. But it should be a starting point. It's an ignition point. It's putting the foot on the gas for the very first time, but we're just pulling out of the lane. We're not even at the main roads yet. Good luck.